Hello, my name is Travis Norville. I'm the pastor of Judson Memorial Baptist Church, and on behalf of all those who call Judson Church their spiritual home, we say welcome and we say thank you for sharing some of your time with us. It is a drop-dead, gorgeous day here in Minneapolis for October. Absolutely stunning. I hope that it is a gorgeous day where you are and that you are enjoying this day in however way that you are capable of. This Sunday, it was our spirituality of birding day. We had some guests, we had some neighbors, we had some folks checking us out, and it was a great day. We also started live streaming again. We didn't make that announcement last week because we weren't really sure if we could get it up and running well, but we got it up and running. There'll be a link in the Wednesday email or in the Friday email. I'm sorry, and then on our Facebook page, we'll make an announcement about that as a reminder on Saturday to make sure that you are remembering this. If you're speaking of the email, if you're not signed up for our award-winning email, yeah, I said that award-winning email. That's only because somebody at the church created an award and they gave it to us. But nevertheless, I think it's fun to say award-winning. You can sign up by going to judsonchurch.org and hitting the Connect With button, and that'll sign you up for email. On Wednesday, I send out a little news and notes from the pastor, and then on Fridays we have more of a, kind of a detailed list of things going on, or links to the bulletin for Sunday worship, those kind of stuff. But yeah, it was a great day. It was fun to share about birds, and it was fun to hear some stories about birds. And the sermon that you'll see is more of a, I think birds give us a invitation to a deeper life, and I think that's what Jesus meant when he said, "Consider the birds of the air." So that's what we did. Uh, yeah, yeah. We also have the guided meditation by Carolyn. We have a piece for the choir, and Doug Weatherhead gave a personal reflection on birding, importance of birding, didn't he? And it's a very tender and very moving personal reflection. Just thank him for doing it. What else you got? Things you need to know about. We also had open mic night on Sunday afternoon for the youth of the community and neighborhood. It was amazing. We had one youth participate, and she sang like an angel. It was absolutely amazing, and we were thankful to do that. But coming up, things you need to know about. Hey, the end of the month, it is, All Saints Eve, or Halloween. Some of you know that. It's that on the 31st. We're going to have, again, an All Souls Remembrance Day. That'll take place on October 29th, and that'll be uh, in the playground area around the church. And, we invite you to come be a part of that. It's from 11 to 3. Come when you want to, stay as long as you want to, and be a part of that. On the Sunday after that, that'll be November 6th, is when we're going to celebrate All Saints Day. And by that, we read the names of those who have departed since the previous All Saints Day in 2021. If you have someone that you would like for us to, a departed one, that you would like for us to read their name as part of the service, we would love to. Please just email me, gtnorville@judsonchurch.org, or email Eileen in the office, info at, the address is info@judsonchurch.org, and we would love to read those names. It's a very special day, and it's part of the just taking the time to not just read names, but to have those names out loud. There's memories connected with them. It's just a beautiful day. So I hope you enjoy the Wednesday offering we have for you. Let me know if you have a favorite bird and you haven't sent it in, or haven't shared. Please, hey, we still got time, and let's enjoy our time together. All right, thanks.
The sparrows sing through My name is Doug Weatherhead, and I'm a bird watcher. And Travis, today is National Bird Migration Day. Travis asked me to get up here and tell you all why birding is important to me. So I'm going to start by telling you how I got hooked on birding. My father took me out birding for the first time. He was a pretty experienced birder by this time, and he knew that I loved to be out in nature and that I had this curious scientific way of looking at things. It was a cool, gray, overcast day, January day in South Florida at the Corkscrew Swamp National Audubon Reserve, and it was also, there was a bit of a fog, so it was really a tough day to be going out birding for the first time because you couldn't see anything. And my dad was like, oh, but he, right away, as we got in, he heard a bird call from the top of the canopy, and it went, weep, and he said, a great crested flycatcher. And I'm sitting there going, where? And so he went on to describe this bird in detail, and to even tell me how it behaved as a flycatcher. And then the bird flew out of the top of the canopy and came down and caught a butterfly right in front of us, and then flew up into a perch and had breakfast. And I was like, wow, my dad knew what this bird was without seeing it. And there it is, a great crested flycatcher. I was hooked at that point. I just, and so from that moment on, I started burying myself in bird identification books and learning bird songs. And the more birds and bird songs I learned, you get to a point where when you go out, if you hear something that you don't know, you chase it. It's this hunt, and the hunt is on, and you try to find it because it may be a bird that a species that you've never seen that you can add to your life list. Life lists, that's a whole other thing we won't go into right now. I'm a lister, so anyway. Another one of the great things about birding, and I encourage people to do it, is that no matter where you are, you can be in your backyard, you could be out on Harriet Avenue after a nice day at church talking with someone, you can be in Central Park in New York City. Anywhere you go in the world, you can bird. And so it's this wonderful hobby to have. When Monica and I go on vacations, I am such a nerd that I research what birds we might see, and in the environments that we may find ourselves exploring. And so I try to have an idea about where I'm going and what I might see. For instance, or actually, knowing the possible birds that you might see you can have these great funny moments. For instance, when we were on our honeymoon, we were down in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, and we were out in the jungle, way out in the jungle, and we were kind of new to birding, and so we're in this other country, and there's all these cool birds that are coming in. We have no idea what they are. So we would both set our binoculars on whatever had flown in, and she would keep watching it, and I would look at its color and its shape and maybe, a wing bar or some kind of an unusual thing that it had. And I would rip through the book trying to figure out what the bird was. It was a very difficult way of birding, but it was our method that we developed, and it was a lot of fun to do together. At one point, Monica found this really unique, unusual bird that had flown in. I was looking at something else, and she said, "Hon, come look at this." And so I went up, and when I got it in my binoculars, I went, "Oh, a rufous-browed pepper shrike." And she looked at me like, right, she started laughing, and we tell this story all the time, but it was the research that I'd done had actually paid off. I was actually able to identify it. It's just you have some really fun moments. Another thing that I really love doing is taking possible new birders out into the field for the first time. They are new, they don't know what they're doing. I love to take them out to see if they might be one who also gets hooked. And some people, right away, they get hooked. They're good at it. They're good spotters. And other people go, yeah, that's cool. But they're just not that into it. But they love to be out in nature, so it's all good. And I like to take people out because I remember when I was first doing it, the birders who mentored me, they showed me how to enjoy this lovely pastime that it is. The most important thing that happened to me because of birding was it brought my father and I back together again. When I was a kid, I was a tough one. I was always in trouble, the dark sheep of the family. My dad was not very happy with me, and in my late teens, the Vietnam War was ending, but it was still going on, and we were at opposite ends of the political spectrum. He was a big Richard Nixon supporter, and I despised the guy. I just couldn't stand it. So we argued a lot. Some arguments were good, most were not. And so when Richard Nixon resigned, I was at a party celebrating his resignation. And I called up my father and I laughed and I said, "I told you so," and hung up. It was not a very nice thing to do to my dad. I realized that later. Because of this, what it did was it made this rift that had been developing between my father and I get deeper. And we ended up not talking much for a number of years, and I kind of stayed away from the family. It was my dad who offered the olive branch in the form of a set of binoculars for my birthday one day. And he saw it as this possible way to bring me back to the family. And it worked. And he became my best buddy, and we spent the rest of the years of his life birding together. So, birding, it's this wonderful thing. It can heal and renew old, broken relationships, like it did with my father. You can develop new relationships. I think it can be a great community builder. So I encourage people to do it. If you are going to do it, two things, very important. You need to get a decent set of binoculars, and you need to learn how to locate and focus. And people go, oh, that's not hard. It can be a difficult thing to learn how to do, but if you keep trying, you'll get good at it. And then the other really important thing is to try to surround yourself with experienced birders that you can hang out with, that can show you the ropes. And so I encourage you to try it, and good birding.
Thank you.